Nigeria is actually a paradox because for a lot of reasons, things that are problems have been problems of a lot of other nations, and they've gone past it, especially even nations that were at the same level, almost at the same time of independence. Many times when there is a challenge with a nation or with a people, one of the first things that comes up is that many times we feel the problem is ignorance, and then they educate the people. We know that Nigerians are some of the most educated people in the world. The US statistics is clear, even, I mean, that's like the first world. For Nigeria, many times we think our problem is diversity. But some nations, including the US we talked about, have used diversity as a strength. I look at the infrastructural problem with Nigeria, and I see that it has a history. And from hindsight, some of us were not fully either mature around then when we had regions. Some of us heard about the groundnut pyramids. Some of us heard about when Nigeria was using palm oil, you know, to do a whole lot of work. We heard when cotton was doing so well. So there was a time when Nigerians were sending their children abroad with what in those days we were calling some crops cash crops. And we did so well. Now that we apparently we now moved to a season where we had more knowledge and we had more money, in quotes. But then it was like there was a collapse of systems. I see that our infrastructural problem cannot be solved or talked about in isolation, you know, from we can't talk about it in isolation, whereas we have a nation whose structure is still, you know, has much to be desired, you know. Yes. So just tell him I'm in a meeting. But he can wait. Dr. Stanley. Okay, Doc. I'm in a Zoom meeting. Okay, you have the photocopies. Please, can you give it to her? I'll be. Okay, sorry for that distraction. Okay, so the basic challenge we have, we cannot talk about things in isolation. Oh, because what really we're doing is that we're just patching. And as long as you keep patching, using old cloth on old patch on a new, you know, or new patch on an old material, we will keep having, you know, breakages. Nigeria has a structural problem. And what is that structural problem? We call ourselves a federation, but in practice, there isn't that practice of what a federation it should be. We should have federating units that are working together to support a center. But what we have really is a situation right now, which happened from when we moved from the regions, and then we had all manner of funny constitutions, which even the ones we have are not properly implemented. We have a situation where the center is the strongest, and the units, which are supposed to be federating units or the states, are weaker, then the local governments are the weakest. So we have a situation where everybody using population, using landmass and all that is collecting from the center. and dividing. We get FAC, the federal allocation and all that. So what we have is a situation where we are not producing and supporting the center. The center is collecting whatever they can collect and divide, distributing the way they like. So that is why infrastructural decay, talking about healthcare infrastructure has decayed over a long time because we have, people just come and they just want to do a fire brigade approach to patch things. Leadership even in Nigeria has failed because fiscal federalism upon which leadership should thrive has failed. Because what happens, we have a situation where we have too strong a center, which has bigger than its usual share, and then so everybody's just grabbing and grabbing. So if you say infrastructure, what are we even talking? Talking even about health. Thank God for COVID-19. Let me add it together. Thank God for COVID-19. What has it shown? It has shown that when the chips are down, home is, the closest to you. We've had a lot of high-profile people die because ordinarily before, at any whim of a headache or a bruise, they're out of the country. If they can't go use commercial flights, they have private jets that they can go off with. Right now, with COVID-19, it was so clear that we had nothing to respond. Thank God it's not really been so fast in our nation, but we know that quite some people, including some high-profile persons, have died. So when we talk infrastructure, are we talking about infrastructure at the states? If we're talking about infrastructure at the states, even at the federal, it's been weakened because people feel that they can get away with looting, and then they go out there and do a whole lot of, they are ill, they go out there. We've heard about Aso Rock Clinic, billions that have been allocated to Aso Rock Clinic for how many years? And when our high-profile personalities came down with COVID, they couldn't be managed at Aso Rock Clinic. They had to take them to Gwagwalada, the university hospital, and then from there to Lagos and all that. So we have basically almost any problem we're talking about Nigeria, we need to start from what is the structure of this nation like. Fiscal federalism is not practiced. The federating units should contribute to the center. And if they contribute to the center supporting the federating unit should be a direct proportionality to the contribution of the federating units to the center. And what that means is that we now go back home and then we look at what are our challenges. If I need an engineer Okonkwo from Anambra State to come to Borno State and help us get our our whatever structures in place, we give him all he needs to come there, maybe as the commissioner of industry or some funny things like that, or works, to get things done. It will have nothing to do with his state of origin. It's all about competence for us to come, to arrive at what is our work plan for our state. But what we have right now is that everybody is poaching. We have all eaten this nation. This nation is bleeding from all sides. So infrastructure is not just what we're talking about. Human capital is there. Everything is in, a lackluster situation because we don't have a structure that works. And for some of us who are students of the Bible, the Bible says that if the foundation be faulty, what can the righteous do? So we have a nation that has a foundation right now, which is our structure, that is really faulty. So almost anything you're trying to do, and I pity some of our people in public offices, because you might have the best ideas, but if the structure is not right, a clerk can frustrate your activities. So what we have now is that the reason why this is not working is because the structure is bad. And until that structure is sorted out, Infrastructure will fail. Healthcare will fail. Education will fail because everybody will just be poaching and the system will not be able to sustain whatever drugs we are giving to it. This will be my first line of comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Charles. Dr. Obari, do you have any question for me?
Hello, thank you very much. Tunde, I also want to say thank you for working with Bolade to put in place a program like this, because I believe that political education is very important. In fact, most times we de-emphasize it, we discount it, and it is that general attitude of ignorance to the way things should run, to what should be the basic expectations of the citizen within the polity, what the citizen should be willing to stand for, to defend, to die for if need be, that has made it very, very possible for some powerful elements to run our political system aground. I believe generally that the level of political education in Nigeria is poor, very poor. And the quality of leadership you get is mainly dependent on the level of political education that is at work within a polity and how people are willing to translate that political education to creating institutions that will protect them and also protect good governance. And it's important to me that you have mentioned structure over and over and over and over. And that is consistent with what many political theories within the polity discuss when they talk about the powers of the component units within the Nigerian state. But it appears to me that that is only one aspect of the problem. Because if we even look at the resources that are available to these component units in this structure at local government level, at state level, you find out that the same attitude that you have at the center is there at all these other levels of governance, which means that the problem with the Nigerian state is possibly bigger than structure. If you were to look at structure, and let's say corruption, or the clear absence of crime and punishment as in regards to power holders, which would you think is a bigger problem before us today as a country? Between restructuring and dealing with the issues of corruption, putting in place a system of crime and punishment that enables people who get into political office and are managing spheres of control, aware that their crimes will be punished to serve as deterrence to other people. Which one would you think is a bigger problem? If we are to fix something, which one do we fix first?
Okay. Is the question for me?
Yes,
for
yes.
everybody.
Okay, great. So I started with what I feel has been a problem that has lingered and that had created gaps here and there that a lot of people have taken advantage of. Now, yes, I agree with you very much, Dr. Obari, that citizenship education has a lot to do, because the question is, where do we start from? And if you know, I mentioned something. I said we have constitutions that even the weakest, even the one we are working with, which is the modification of the 1999 constitution, is in itself not even properly implemented. For example, we talk about infrastructure. We have the social media, knowledge has improved, right? I really wish we could solve Nigeria's problem in a block. But the thing there is that, for example, we could start from as little as what do we have as our budget for the state, for the local government, you know, before we even talk federal. And then at the local government level, citizens should be able to say, okay, hold their leaders accountable to say, you said you are going to build 10 1-kilometer roads this year, right? Forget about even, yes, we should even go as much as each of them should have a tar of up to 1 centimeter, right? That is
Yeah.
at the local government, or these leaders we see are the Buharis that we have. You understand? So before we blame the man in Aso Rock, the person's money, I mean, look at what happened to NDDC. The people that are plummeted 81 billion in 6 months and did not, out of which not one road was built, were people from that region. So if we don't know what is at the disposal of NDDC, we'll be blaming APC, we'll be blaming Buhari, right, for neglecting the Niger Delta. Whereas if we had knowledge, and now you could even go online and see a whole lot of things about the budget, what gets to the states, what gets to local governments. Now it's for you to, even at the local government level, what is the plan? If they say this is their budget and what's it, we hold them accountable. You understand? We do a stock taking to be able to say, okay, you said by in this year you'll be able to do 200 projects. It's a quarter. We expect that by now you should have done 50 projects. Where are we? You understand? So that when they know another quarter, you ask questions. Citizens can come out and ask proper questions. Now, the quality of leadership we have really, just as I will agree with you, sir, has a lot to do with the quality of citizenship, of followership, right? One, the leaders come from the followers. Two, the leaders are leading the followers. So when you have a situation where anybody who enters one office, even as little as a clerk, the relations come around and say, nah, it is your turn. You know, so the person goes there. I mean, corruption is easy to deal with if everybody plays their part. Corruption is people that will move something from here to here. And many times for you to move it from here to here, you need the cooperation of 1 or 2 others. So if others say no, you are accountable to doing this, then people will sit up. So one, the citizens need knowledge. We talked about citizenship education, very important. We need to know and we need to be concerned. Many times everybody is like, well, it's the person's turn when I mean, it does not concern me. Many times we say we are not concerned about whether we vote or that since the votes don't count. But yet the leadership that comes out of that failed election would affect your business. It will affect your family. It will affect your health. So I think bad as it is, even while we are fighting restructuring at the center, let the big boys fight those ones. At our own level, we should be able to say, even up to our town hall meeting, we put 2 million together at the town hall meeting to do something in our village. How was it utilized? You don't sit down and say, well, is that person's turn when I become a leader? You understand? You're a leader at different levels. In your family, you're a leader. What do you tell your children? You understand? How do you educate? So citizenship, so basically, that's where corruption comes from. If citizens know what to look out for and they hold their leaders or whoever is in one position or handling one resource or another accountable, corruption will greatly minimize. We know that it might not be easily eradicated, but it will be greatly minimized. So that's like the bottom top approach. And that will go a long way to at least while putting some things in place, while hoping that there will be the bigger, structural adjustment in quotes as we go along. Thank you for that angle, my brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Because of our time, let's go to the next question. I don't know how we're going to do it. We only have 30 minutes more. This goes to Chief Mrs. Felicia Essang-Oludare. Chief Mrs., can you please wave your hands, please? Chief Mrs. Okay. Can you wave your hand? Chief Mrs. Essang, okay, good. Chief Mrs. Essang-Oludare is a community, she's a community leader. She's a politician too, a politician. And she's been helping youth from time immemorial. Children are the leaders of tomorrow. Everybody knows that. Your child, your children, my children, they are the leaders of tomorrow. So they say, or so we say. Majority of our youths these days have taken social decadence as the norms of the society. What you think is not normal, people have taken it to be normal. From engaging in deceitful plots to scam, to Yahoo, to kidnapping. As a matter of fact, in Yahoo, there's Yahoo Plus, Yahoo Plus, Yahoo Plus Plus, style Yahoo times. And even youths, not only youth. I mean, when you say you are youthful, it could be, even if you are 50, you are still useful. 60, you are still useful. To fraud in organization that you are employed. So many things. What is happening now started decades ago, like you have been, like was reiterated by the first question we asked. Mrs. Essang-Oludare, as a community leader, why is there the urge to do evil? We always want to do evil. Everybody. Impatience to gather wealth. From our youth these days, what do you think is responsible that even youthful people, nobody is patient enough? Okay, there's a word saying that God time is the best. Nobody is waiting for God time is the best now. What do we do? What does the government, how does the government find solution to this problem? Over to you, Mrs. Obari.
Hello.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tiomi, for giving me this opportunity. Can I still call you Tiomi?
No, it's okay. It's always my first name. Tiomi means Tunde Omitogun. Don't worry.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you. Good evening to everyone out there. Yes. When you say leaders, our leaders, the children forever will always be the leaders of tomorrow. We shall always look at them as tomorrow's leaders, because no matter how long you want to stay there in power, one day you will die. And the younger ones will take over eventually. So there is no doubt about that leaders are, the youths are leaders of tomorrow. The thing is that here we are not preparing our youth to take over from us. We are doing our best to stifle their growth so that we continue to stay there. When we are 80 plus, we continue to stay there. So it's up to the youth actually to take up the challenge themselves. If our leaders are not ready to allow them a hand in leadership of the country, it is not by sitting down and waiting for them. You know, we have to work with them. We have to help them to grow. And how do we even help them to grow? The Yahoo thing is because the Nigerian state has failed the youth. It's not as if there's always going to be crime. There's been crime before we were born. There was crime from time immemorial. They started with all kinds of names. Yahoo is just I think it's just a phase. And I believe with time there will be another type of, like you said, they have Yahoo Plus, they have Yahoo Plus Plus, they have Babalawos. In those days, they used to have money changers, you know, all kinds of crimes. People will always do crimes. But as a nation, we still have to prepare the youth. We have to, it is onus is on us to make sure that we give them qualitative education. Qualitative education sometimes does not even mean that your child must go to university. train them, get them to learn the hands-on trades, whatever it is that they will be able to do to help them in life. Most of the universities that we have today, they're just churning out certificates, and you bring those people to do anything. No, all they have to do, they just lay back to doing Yahoo all the time. So it is the establishment, it is the system that is actually, so to speak, helping the Yahoo to thrive, because these boys don't have any other thing. They don't have, aside those doing armed robbery. I think Yahoo is still better than going into armed robbery, going into kidnapping. They sit down with their computers, even though it is crime. Crime is crime, it is bad. But we as a government must sit down and think of how to help this country, Nigeria, because youth being the leaders of tomorrow, and all we have are a bunch of Yahoo boys, a bunch of kidnappers, a bunch of, name them, get rich quick. Everyone wants to get rich quick, and they're not ready to do anything. So the system is bad. The system is failing us. Look at, for example, the monies that, the looted funds. If those looted funds are turned into industries, we bring in industries, workable industries, and you bring people, even if we want to bring Oyibo to run them, bring the Oyibos to run them. Maybe there could be a build, operate, and transfer kind of agreement between our government and those people. Bring those looted funds back, give it to them, set up industries, and our youth will have work. We will have something to do. So everyone will not just be about roaming about the street looking for who to kidnap or who to defraud and all that. So it is the system. Until our leaders are ready. Okay, look at the Empower program, for example. What does the Empower program really do to anybody? You sit people down to pim, and at the end of the day, okay, so now where is this Empower? How many of the youths in this country have been empowered with the Empower? It's a problem for this nation that we don't have good leaders. We don't have people that are thinking about the leaders of tomorrow that are coming up. So we have a whole lot of work to do. We have to sit, Buhari government, to me, is the worst government in Nigeria. Buhari's government is the worst. Because you can't have a leader who does not have a head. Everybody has to think for him. And everybody has to write for him to read. I have never one day sat down and see my president talk on TV or have a conversation, a real conversation with one-on-one with anybody, except when he reads some written stuff from anybody. So when you don't have a leader, you don't have a leader, what do you expect of a nation? So here we are. In my opinion, we don't have any choice than to work with our youth, encourage them. Those we can train, those individually, or those the organizations can train. I know quite a lot of people that are doing that in my community where I come from. Our senator is doing a great job, a great deal. The first thing she even did was to make sure that she churned out some, some programs for the youth, and then we should, eventually we'll help them to start off their life somewhere. And I think it is all about having good government at the top there. Once that is in place, every country is in order. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Chief Mrs. Over to you, Dr. Obari. Dr. Obari Gomba, are you there? I think, let me see. One way or the other is not, okay, it's not there, yes. Once it comes out, once it comes in back, once it comes in, I have one or two questions for you, Chief Mrs. Essang-Oludare. We'll go to the next question. It goes to Great Moshood Abiola FATAI. Great Moshood Abiola FATAI published a book called The Language of Politics. We all know politics is a dirty game, and it comes with many ways of playing this. There are many ways of playing this game. Sorry. I just want to know. Okay. Let me start again. Politics is a dirty game, and it comes with many. There are many ways of playing these dirty games. From one administration to the other, I remember, even if I don't remember anything, I remember Obasanjo's regime. Fire for fire. It's a language of a politics. After him was Umaru, like he always calling. He gave him a name too. And what the administration is going to do is a do or die affair. From Umaru to Jonathan, it's a do or die affair. Whatever I think they call it, it's a game. I don't know whether your the book you published is along that line, but from the book you've published, we always know that there are languages of politics. How do we speak a language of politics that ensures a better Nigerian or a better Nigerian nation? Over to you, Great Moshood FATAI, Abiola FATAI. No. Hello, you are not speaking. Okay, we can't hear you. No one can hear you. Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Good.
Thank you, Mr. Omitogun. It's a pleasure to be here. And, I'm so sorry for the erratic internet connection.
Okay.
Talking about the language of politics, as you have rightly mentioned, series of
please increase your audio so that we hear. Thank you.
Series of powers like fire for fire and all that. And we all know that the major language we have is changed. That was a new language in 2014. From 2014 to 2017 now, we're still change. But in my own opinion, the question we are situation is not about the it's not about whether we don't have the right language or whether we have the wrong language. I think it's all has to do with mindset. If I'm not mistaken.
Hello, can we hear him very well? If you can hear him very well, just wave your hand.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Can I go ahead, please?
Yeah.
Okay. As rightly said by Dr. Charles, he made mention of the problem of ignorance. I think the Nigerian situation, from the youth to the elderly, I think there is a lot of ignorance in the system. And that is where an agency like National Education Agency is supposed to come from. If I'm not mistaken, the NOA is an offshoot of what we used to know as Massage.
Sorry, Great FATAI, can you increase your volume? There is a way you can increase your volume from your either phone or your computer or laptop.
Is it better now? Where is it?
Okay, to the maximum, just increase it to the
better
maximum.
now to the maximum.
Yeah, yes.
So, but during IBB, if I'm not mistaken, the Mazar was very effective. Promulgated that, if I'm not mistaken, and there are a lot of activities like Mazar, national unity, so that is lacking. I'm still very shocked with that up to now. We have not had anything about Moshood for
Yes, I'm still having issues hearing you.
It is not really about language. No, language is about mindset. There's a lot of misinformation in the system. If you go to the Nigeria cyberspace now to read something on the internet, I can assure you up to 90% of what you are going to be reading about Nigeria politics, about Nigeria government, if it is not forced, it's definitely going to be probably be deliberate attempts by some people to misinform the general public. And the youth are not helping the situation because the youth are even one of the major problems now. The youth in Nigeria make to take a very radical approach, not a rascal approach. There are difference between radicality and rascality. A lot of them, what I observe with the internet now is there are a lot of internet rascals. I'm aware that there are some politicians who even pay the youth to be saying all manners of jargon on the internet, using all manners of language, abusing this, abusing this. Just few minutes ago, the deputy speaker was impeached. I don't understand the kind of language they use to impeach that one, but I'm aware that even more than 60% of the members of the assembly were not inaugurated. So with 8 or 9 members presently in the assembly, we still have the deputy speaker being impeached. And you see some people, they will support that. You see some people, they will against that. They are not supporting or against any principle. They are supporting or against based on what they feel it is right. And most of them, what they think is right is premised on what is not even having any root in any principle or any or Nigeria constitution as the case may be. That's why you can see some youth or elderly people as the case may be, they will support some activities what they against during President Jonathan, during President Buhari, the same thing happened, they will support it. What they supported during President Jonathan, during President Buhari, they will against it. Then there's a problem in the system, and people are negatively about the situation in Nigeria. So the language, the land use charge being introduced by the former government, I don't know the situations with that. People just come to the government to do whatever they right. And the situation in Nigeria has now become very worrisome arena, shows that people only support what they actually correct, what is based on principle based on the situation. I think the first of all is that we should go, the main language is that we should be committed, be patriotic, and we should embark on the reorientation of ourselves. Since it is clear that government is not interested in the reorientation of the youth and the elderly and citizen in society, I think from the family level we can continue to ensure that we don't engage ourselves in disinformation, we don't engage ourselves in misinformation, and connect to the right source of information rather than overeating the system. Thank you.
Thank you, great Moshood Abiola FATAI. There's another angle to what we're discussing on. Our next question goes to Mr. Joshua ODERINDE. Please, can you hear Joshua ODERINDE? Mr. Joshua ODERINDE. Okay.
Good afternoon. Yes. I'm on.
Okay, you're on now. This is your question. Now, listen to me very well, everyone. It's a sweet thing to hear. We want to hear children, your child, my child, small kids, going through pains. But something happened of recent, which while we're addressing Mr. OKEOWO ODERINDE, there's a video called Calm Down. A child being punished by, wanted to be punished by his mother. Do we all know about it? If you know about the video, raise up your hand and wave like this. Calm down, calm down. Hey, Chief Mrs., you are the only female among us, so we are all, our eyes on you. We are looking at, sit down very well. You're not sitting down very well, though. Calm down.
We have another mother in the house, so Mrs. Morenike Babintin Ashayi, FCA.
I saw her. Okay, yeah, she's still on, but our video is on. Please, can you put your, if you can hear us?
Yes, she's hearing. She's in the house fully, giving us support, motherly support.
Please, I want to see let's see your video, because this is for women. Oh yeah, go on. Video. Your video. This is Morenike Babintin Ashayi. Okay, while she's coming on, this issue came up. It was actually fun. You pity the child, you pity the mother for something apparently brewed or was brewing. Does the calm down video shows, I'm talking to you, Joshua, then the calm down video shows how not to build a nation. A nation of drama. We trivialize what we should criminalize. From far shade, Malay to Bondi to Mentu and NDC. You remember the NCDC case? The guy just just like that. You understand? Okay, maybe we use still 1 billion to 2 billion and faint. Those things, those just not common just now. We have been showing the trade for a long time. In this calm down video, the mother was about to discipline the son for stealing. The boy went into frenzy, drama to manipulate. Right. The boy was able to manipulate. In fact, he manipulated the mother, that the mother was laughing. It was not the first time. The son was doing it severally. It was because of the frenzies that the mother came up and said, let me record this video. But Nigerians, we are. Our typical Nigerians, we are all caught up in the frenzy. Without looking deep at the substance, we glorify wrong things. It is wrong things we glorify. Mr. ODERINDE, please. You are an accountant. Accountants are meant not to be compromised. They are not meant to be support me now, support you, whatever it is, the language we use. How do we rectify this glorifying? Because it's a wrong thing that everybody, even the governor glorified it. Sorry to say. You understand? I want to meet this because the guy came out with so many of us. Well, sorry to say, I'm going to say it. So many of us, when we are at our youth, we've done so many evil things. Some things that our seniors, how can you be manipulating me like this? But this guy was able to manipulate. He didn't manipulate his mother only. He manipulated everyone, everybody in Nigeria, in Lagos, okay, so to say. How do we rectify this glorifying the laws? Is the family values distorted, destroyed, and polluted? What's the cost and solution for this, for a better Nigeria? Looking at this scenario, Mr. OKEOWO ODERINDE, over to you.
First of all, let me appreciate the convener and the coordinator. This topic we are discussing today is very germane, and I appreciate all speakers before me because they've made valuable contributions today. Looking at the scenario, we should go some step backward to some years back when a child is trained not only by his parent, is trained by the whole community. The whole community is responsible for the training of a child and discipline of a child. What do we have today? If I make mistake of scolding your child, even genuinely, it is the parent that will say, ah, don't touch my child, oh. Why did you beat my child? That is the beginning of problem. I'm still coming to address the issue of the calm down video, but I'm laying the foundation. Let's look at another scenario. We move from our traditional culture. Our culture is very rich. Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, we have very rich culture. We like to copy foreign culture. We want to copy everything on television. We overexpose our children to internet, overexpose them to foreign programs, and they have really imbibed most of those negative attributes. That is the fundamental foundation which we also need to look at. Coming to the video that you use as case study today, there are two sides to it. Number one, the aspect of maintaining discipline. When you need to maintain discipline as a parent, or as a boss, or as a leader, you need to let them know the line. And when a child crosses the line, you have to discipline the child. Because the Bible itself says, spare the rod, spoil the child. However, as a trained teacher, a psychologist, there's also the human angle to it. Because everything in life is not just one jacket fits all. It's not one jacket fits all. We all grew as children. We have our naughty days, our naughty ways, and we shouldn't lose sight of the innocence of childhood aspect of that child's behavior. Yes, it is good to discipline a child. It's also good to also train up a child in the way of the Lord. Let a child know, my children, I don't beat them, but tell them today when they were growing up, I will report you to your daddy. They will be begging you. They will beg you because they know that I will not be happy with it. So we should maintain discipline. We should not glorify any excesses or bad behavior. We should show good example. We should maintain discipline, but at the same time, we should not leave out the aspect of mercy. Because as a Christian too, there's an aspect which says that when a sinner departs from his sin and is genuinely repentant, well, you can forgive. Permit me to say this one in Yoruba. That is when you scold a child with the right hand, bring him close or her closer to you with the left hand. That is the carrot and the stick approach. There are occasions you need to apply the carrot. There are occasions you need to apply the stick. So we have to maintain balance between the two. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is there anyone that wants to? The thing is, I'll still go back to you. OKEOWO ODERINDE. I'm going to tell you some facts.
Yeah.
I've been around. When I say I've been around, I've really been around. It's not, okay, people can be around more than myself. Even when I was in the university, at my age, I'm 55 years old. Sorry to say, so many of you will be older than me. But when I even in the university, I could see some of my mates, what they were doing. And when I travel abroad, I find so many Nigerians doing evil things. When I say evil things, things are beyond you will never think of. Now, when I'm in Nigeria, I find out that there are some youths, what they do. Youths, the, so to say, Yahoo, this thing. If I pick 10 youths, believe me, hardly will I verify, take one. And they are in their 20s. By the time they reach their 30s and 40s. Don't forget, sorry to say, I'm still going to say sorry to say, for those people that are hearing me. Those people that are in the National Assembly, in the Senate, why is it that majority of them, hello?
We are on.
Majority of them, what you hear of them is that they are in the court, they are doing this, they are doing that. They have poured acid on some women. They have done this on this, on this, on this, and that. And we cannot do anything to it. We are not saying we should do anything to it, but we find out that those people, they call it the bold half. Okay, not bold half, the lion half. If you have a lion heart, you can become a governor or a senator. When you said in your analysis that teach a child in the way which he needs to go, and you feel at peace with yourself. But we're not, none of us is teaching our children in that way. Those children you see today, they will become hyena, let me put it that way, tomorrow. What solution do you think, I'm referring to you, Mr. ODERINDE, what do you think we should do to curtail, to stop this kind of evil thinking and evil manipulation of things and evil shrug movement of things in our life? So
we need multi-faceted approach to address the issue, because it's actually affecting our foundation. Because the Bible says when the foundation is faulty, what should the righteous do? The righteous, we have to pray and also take the step of faith. We need to, first of all, address and examine the areas where we went wrong. Some of those areas are the areas of modernization in quotes, celebration of mediocrity over excellence. How many people today we like to be a chartered accountant and wait the number of years I waited before I could buy a Jeep? Even when I was giving a talk, a career talk to some students sometimes ago, I told them that, look, for you to come into accounting is a noble profession. But if you are coming there because of money, be assured that you will easily go to jail. You may not necessarily be rich, but you will be comfortable, you have good name, and you also have respect and honor in the society. However, what do we celebrate in the society today? No matter the source of the income of somebody who just became a millionaire overnight, we put them in the front row in the church. We put them in the front row of a community. We give them big chieftaincy title. That was why when one young boy during career talk was asked, what do you want to become in the future? He said he wants to be a politician. What was put before him and what he's seeing is that, oh, you don't need to work. Once you are in politics, you become rich. We need to do value reorientation. We need paradigm shift. For God's sake, let us celebrate those and honor those who are professionals, who are honest. They may not be rich, but they are richer in experience. They are richer in integrity. They are richer in good quality of life. And when anybody knows, like civil servant knows that when I retire, I will get my pension. When I retire, I will get basic things of life. No need of stealing. And I want to appeal to all of us here and everybody watching us. Let us bring back moral education to our colleges, our schools. The moment we remove moral education, religious education, we miss it there. It's part of the areas that affected us. Listen to our radio stations today. Watch our TV stations. What type of music are they playing? What do we have on air? We need to address that because all these little things affect the psyche of the children. Children today are the adults tomorrow. They are the adults tomorrow. We need to start addressing those areas. And it is high time that the agencies that is in charge of censoring of music and video films come alive and screen those things that should come on board, both on TV and radio, without sense of apology. This program that we have been running for over 14 years now, Big Brother Africa, Big Brother Nigeria, what are we promoting there? What are we promoting? And all of us, we are laughing about it. I've led some movement sometimes ago that this thing should be stopped. We send messages to people in authorities, but we are only interested in the monetary aspect, monetary gain. It's high time that we address this. These are some of the few areas, critical areas. I know that our mommy and daddies that are here too, we add more. These are the areas where we miss it. It's high time that even at home, we do parental control. Even when you still do the parental control, the access to internet, children have, let me say youth instead of children now, they have unlimited access to internet. Some of them, instead of using them for productive things, they use them for pornography. We need to address this. There are some countries where the access to internet is also regulated and limited. Because when you don't control, it is what you take into your mind that will affect your mind, the quality of your mind. We need to address this. It is a major work for all of us on this platform today, and even in the church, in the mosque, in the society, in the offices. Let me cite a practical example. I had a youth copper in my office some time ago. When some of my staff saw the way she dressed, They say, don't let Oga see you this way. He will send you home. He will not accept this type of dressing. Truly speaking, she was dodging me towards till the end of the day. It was very close to the closing time that I said, why do you come to the office like this? Didn't they tell you? He said, Oga, I've been running away from you since morning. They told me. Do you know that changed her dressing pattern today? And I have messages from her today that, Oga, you made my life. I don't know that it is wrong. I was thinking it's fashion. Let us make it a habit to mentor young ones. Let us train them. Even this morning, I was coming down from the staircase in my house. A young guy was coming up. He nearly ran on me, into me. What happened? He was addicted to phone. I now call him, young man, please, whenever you are moving, stop working on phone. It can cost you your life. Many people have lose their life as a result of this. He now said, Daddy, thank you, sir. Don't only concentrate on your children only. Be interested in other people's children. Because if you don't join hands to train those children, the other ones may join armed robbery gang that can attack your own. So it is joint effort for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's been you are actually lecturing. It's more lecture. You are actually lecturing us. It's it's actually good. And some of these things we are going to put it on Facebook, on social media. We're going to blast it out, and everybody's going to see it. The last question goes to Kininyi, Edet, Edubio. They say the last one standing is into business, actually. This question goes forth. The future of Nigeria, in the future of Nigeria, there are 3 categories, levels for better Nigerian nation. Don't forget, what we do is Nigerian nation. A better Nigerian nation. Number 1 is improving the history of doing business, which you must have encountered during your sojourn, because you have gone from one country to another country in your maritime as being a maritime engineer. Enhancing labor productivity and reducing the overall level of corruption perception. In fact, in our group, one of the people that always counter corruption perception, or not counter, talk about corruption perception is this man. Can you hear that? Edubio, also known as K-Boy. Please. What are the causes of these problems, and what solution would you prefer to it? Over to you, K-Boy.
Good afternoon, Tunde and other participants. Let me start by thanking you, Tunde, and others that have over time been organizing this talk show. And to handle the future of Nigeria, there are 3 critical levels for a better Nigerian nation. And looking at how do we improve the ease of doing business, enhancing labor productivity, reducing the overall level of corruption perception. Let's start with the first one. Honestly, my period of working in Nigeria, I've always had, especially in the last 7 years, I've always had cause to wonder what really is the problem with Nigerians. Now let's do a comparative study of the IOCs, international oil companies in Nigeria. They are all in Nigeria here, and they also coexist hand in hand with the federal government, the state government, which happens to be the highest employer of labor. Now, if you look at the IOCs, you find out that they have effectively been able to carry out their business uninterrupted and smoothly with a lot of profit. I take example. I'll give a typical example of two IOCs. Shell. My late father worked and retired from Shell, and I happen to have worked for ExxonMobil for 10 years between 2003 and 2013. And you see that things are done systematically correct. And we have Nigerians that would have worked there and also worked in the public sector. There's just no way you can compare the way things are being handled from both sides. Now, having worked for ExxonMobil for 10 years, and I currently work for the federal government, you see a contrast in the way businesses are being run. A typical example is you will recall that Osibanjo was in charge. One of those executive to do with the ease of doing business, where businesses were supposed to have been fast-tracked, and so that we can end up, we can end up with a more productive system, especially in the public sector. We can, avoid a lot of bureaucratic bottlenecks. But the problem is, you go to any of the parastatals or ministries, do they still understand what that means, or we have all gone back? Nigeria is just good at copying. I tell a lot of people that care to listen that there are a lot of laws, a lot of processes, a lot of procedures that we have in Nigeria. But a major problem is the implementation of it, how those at the top of the system decides to implement these rules, these laws, these procedures that are already in place. It's not about having new laws or new system. For example, they want to tinker with the constitution of Nigeria. The ones that we have today, are we implementing them? So the ease of doing business with my exposure and knowledge from the private sector, one of the IOCs. You see, it's made work for me easy. I had the ship's accident investigation in the master. All my staff working under me are in. So there are any issues, I put it there. There are any issues, I encourage them to put it there. So we look at it. I have an electronic signature. So once you come up with a my electronic signature is put on that document, and you must refuse to move away from paper files. So even it will marvel you that despite all of what I would do from my unit to ensure that system moves on, it goes to life of someone that is waiting for the hard copy to come. Parastatals will get missing because somebody who maybe doesn't like your face, doesn't like what you want to do, or doesn't key into what you are trying to propose, levels, and deliberately will just hit that fire somewhere. Not go anywhere for months, for years. So I think they need to be servants, majorly the civil servants. We really need to reorientate civil servants on how government businesses are run. We talked about Singapore, we talked about Malaysia. Coincidentally, I schooled and studied, be it in the private or government, or public sector. Things are, you don't territorize public service. And attitude in government parastatals, you see people just strolling into the office by 10, by 11, and by 2, they are packing their bags wanting to go. Why would you employ? Why would you have such people in the employ of government? So, employment process. Are we employing the right people? If you do an audit of government parastatals, government ministries, you will find a whole lot of people that shouldn't be there. Now, when you start with that, meaning, saying, I have connection, I have that, has to be wiped off, and you now have a proper system where, like what is obtainable in the oil companies, you have to be fit for it, and there has to be that training, and there has to be, you have to be provided with the tools with which to carry out your functions for we to have this ease of doing business. For me, it's not about signing that executive order. When that executive order was signed, you see a whole lot of ministries. In 6 months, we have gone back to square one. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is pushing. If we look at KPIs of government, so what was the point? What was the point? That ease of doing business, part of that all Nigerian ports work 24 hours. Because the ships that comes into Nigeria, the rates, they are being built based on the fact that work will go, even the labors of our ports there doesn't work 24 hours. So how do we get sure that businesses run and we minimize and we make advantage of the period with which we have power? So the other one had to do with enhancing labor productivity. It's unfortunate that in Nigeria we kind of like pay so much attention to academic qualification at the expense of technical know-how. Now, from my experience and exposure, you will rarely find any of these foreigners that are being brought into Nigeria to become either technical manager, managing directors with those masters, PhDs. They're technicians. They're technicians that have an idea, have a working experience on how those systems are being run, and they bring them into Nigeria, and they become MDs. And we were looking at you getting masters all over the place, getting PhD and government. I'll give you a typical example. Now, it's a mystery for you to move a plane from point A to point B. And about the same thing with ships, because e.g., if you are going, let's say you're going from Lagos to US, I think after sailing for about 1 week or a few days out of Nigeria, for weeks you will not even see any ship passing you by or going along with you. So that craft, that idea of moving it from point A to point B it's a technical knowledge you get to study, you get to learn over time. Now you gain all these qualifications, and like some of us that stop going to sea and we chose to have to do work on land, and somebody saying, if you don't have a BSc, you cannot work on land. If you don't have a master's degree here and there, and well, of course, going through that system, you get to acquire some more knowledge. Now, if we go back to enhancing, the labor productivity, in my own view, my own opinion, I think government and private individuals should have done more in establishing industries. There are a lot of things we're importing which we shouldn't. We're importing toothpick, we're importing all kinds of nonsense. Whereas most of this money, like the people that steal money, you steal money and you go and bank them overseas when you could establish industries that could employ a whole lot of people in your village. So why stack millions in your soccer way when you could have established, even if government was going to come and seize that industry, at least you will still have people working. People will still be praying for you for that gesture. But then government is not putting in place infrastructures. Private individuals are not putting in place infrastructures that will help in the development of the small community, the urban, and all that. So for me, I think we should look at these infrastructures, government creating the enabling environment, and people knowing that if we decide to establish industries, it will help not just the profit, the turnovers, but it's going to help reduce crime. It's going to be difficult if you have people that has to go to work and earn a living to now be thinking about yahoo. So there's a ripple effect. But our youth, they don't have what to do. And once you can get a computer, you have access to internet, and you learn the craft of, holding on to most of these greedy people. Then the first trunk comes in. You, after just playing with some figures, you have 1 million naira. Of course, you're going to go higher, and the crime rate is going to increase. Where you cannot do that, then you think of perhaps going to rob. So my thoughts are that our government, our people, aside from the enabling environment, we should look at how agriculture is one major example that can employ a whole lot of people. If we recall those days, I think 84, 85, yeah, very well. That was Oyakilome, the then governor of Rivers State, military administrator of Rivers State, when he introduced what they used to call school to learn. A whole lot of graduates, whether you're a graduate or you're not a graduate, they keyed into that program, and Rivers State then was very, very productive. Now, we're yet to see a concerted effort towards production, towards agriculture. Everybody wants to do the white-collar job. Everybody wants a job like the civil service, where if you check, a lot of people run into the civil service. You know why? It's difficult. After confirmation, it's difficult for you to terminate or sack a civil servant. You must go through that procedure of giving him 3 queries and now setting up a panel. So it's difficult to go through that process. So it sits down there, as long as he's finding a way to mark his name, government is just burning money over nothing. Most of them are not productive, but they always want promotions. It's like they have a lot of civil servants just have this sense of entitlement that once you've made 3 years or 4 years, you are entitled to be promoted, even when you have achieved nothing in those years that you stayed. Now, corruption. It's I don't know how.
Let's just give you.
How we're gonna wipe it.
Yeah, just give you 2 minutes more.
I was talking.
Just 2 minutes more so that we can.
Okay, yeah, I'm just rounding up. Yes, I'm just rounding up. My last topic was reducing the overall level of corruption perception. It's going to be difficult. Somebody once said that you just need to wipe off Nigerians from the age of 25 above for you to be able to have a be-oriented perception of corruption for Nigeria. But I don't think that is feasible. But for the very few that are anti-corrupt, we just have to continue. We have to do our best. We have to, whatever responsibility is before us, or whether position of responsibility, we just have to try as much as possible to do our best to help the nation. Minister, it's sad what is happening in the probes in the National Assembly. It's really sad. They would be able to stay and watch those videos or listen to the kind of perception is that the major players don't seem to have done anything wrong. In other crimes,
Hello? It's like you are out of.
People would have resigned. People would have. The corruption is just ended. We need to do more than what we're doing now. So, in terms of doing business, we need to establish more industries and get our people to learn the handcraft, how to use our hands, our knowledge, be responsible for whatever position. So thank you for this time.
Thank you so much, Edubio. It's really, you've actually expanded. You see, that is why we do so many people, because what you don't think of, other people will bring you to view for you to say. We're running up now, but then I want your finality, all of you. Kininyi, Mrs. Oludare, Mr. OKEOWO, great Moshood, Abiola, FATAI. I think is he on?
Yes, I'm on. I'm on. Okay. I'm still with.
Okay. Then there is another person that is on. Actually, I have not really asked him anything. Mr. Abang. Hello, Abang, are you on? He's not on. Okay.
Yes, I am on. I am on.
Okay. Do you have any? Because you are the one that is not one of the discussants. Let's hear you in 2 minutes. Not more. Not more than. Yeah, not more than 2 minutes. Please, not more than 2 minutes. Tell us, what do you want to ask? What do you want to contribute? What do you want to advise? Please.
Well, I would like to talk on political issue, not the women and children and all those things.
Okay.
Because I think the first discussant stated clearly when he was talking about the foundation. If the foundation is destroyed, what shall the righteous do? And the second discussant now also said, what if money, that even money allocated to people are not well utilized, well managed? I know that a lot of people always have this argument. People will always have this argument, this and this. My point has always been, if my money is my money, give me my money. Do not tell me that the money you will give to Abang will use it to buy Mercedes Benz. Because that will amount to you thinking for me. You are not supposed to think for me. And tomorrow, somebody may be a governor of a place, he's not doing well. Somebody else come and be a governor and he will do well. So the bottom line is that the system of government we are running is not functioning. And we cannot continue to rely on it. We have to go back to practice federalism as was agreed by our founding fathers when Nigeria started as a nation. We have different conferences, both in Nigeria and in London. And all of them came to conclusion that Nigeria should dwell in a federation. And that federation, there were as many as 3 constitutions plus the federal constitution, even before the Midwest was created. So we find out that if we are really doing a federal system of government, like one of the discussants said, money should not be coming from Abuja to be shared. Money should be moving from different states towards Abuja, where it will be shared, not the other way around. I can assure us that if this thing is done, you will now find out that people have reason to question, to challenge, to ask their own leaders what is going on. A situation where somebody will sit down in Abuja and appoint a councillor in my village is very, very annoying. They say the is a candidate of the national chairman of the party. The list comes from Abuja. So everybody must accept that candidate, whether you like it or not. We cannot continue in this era. And if we continue, we will not make progress. So things must change. We must go back to true federal government, federalism as practiced before the military took over. Because the constitution of Nigeria that Nigerians ever produced was for a federal system of government. Now, the 1979, 1989, 1999 are all produced by the military. So it is not our own constitution. It's being fostered on us. So that's what I want to say, because a lot of this thing, because in fact, I've told somebody, the beauty with federal system of government is that if the rearing of cow is what is important in Kebbi State, let them raise cow in Kebbi State. If education is what is important in Ekiti State, let Ekiti State have up to 20 universities. It is nobody's business. Because Ekiti value education, Kebbi State value rearing of cows. Allow them do what they want to do. But when you now say that a child in Ekiti should not go to school because he can only score 210 when he is expected to score 350. So he must wait for somebody who will score 5 points or 10 points from Zamfara. It is very, very unfair to the Ekiti girl, to the Ekiti boy. It must not be done like that. And as long as we continue to push people to wait for others to grow, we continue to have problems. That's why you see that everybody, do you know that everybody in NNDC believes that that's their own share of the national cake? After all, were you appointed by the leaders of that zone? Were you not appointed from Abuja? Were you not appointed because you are APC supporter? Were you not appointed so that there will be money to raise and run election when the time for election in your zoo come. So why won't you stay there in NDDC and raise money for your party, raise money for your legislators in Abuja? But you find out that if we have even practiced federal system of government, NDDC will not even be there in the first place. We don't need it. Now, okay, let me just raise one point. Are we aware that almost all the zoos in Nigeria are asking for development commission? Southeast is asking for development commission. Northeast have gotten their own development commission, which they say whether 100 billion is stolen. Norway is asking for their own development commission. So development commission has become a kind of thing that every zone is entitled to. When Niger Delta was given that development commission, it was not meant for all zones in Nigeria to have development commission. It was because of a peculiar problem of the degradation of the environment and all exploration problem in the area. Now everybody wants their own development commission. What kind of country are we building? What are you doing that you are asking for development commission in your zoo? So before we know now, all 6 zones in Nigeria will have development commission. What will those commissions be doing apart from the normal allocation to the state as the case may be? Okay. So in a nutshell, we keep on going round and round in circles. We keep on going round and round in circles, going round and round in circles. Now in 2023, Buhari will go. Another person will come with his own clique of friends, and we continue to run in circles. I don't think we can make progress with that as a nation. Thank you. I want to appreciate everybody. I listened, I tuned in before the program started, and I really enjoyed the contribution of everybody. I say God bless all of us in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. In just 2 minutes, the next person, great Moshood FATAI. Can you just give us summary of what you have discussed in the next 2 minutes? I don't think it's online. Okay, let's go to the next one. Chief Mrs. I'm looking, look at the camera. When you look at the camera, it shows you are looking at us. Chief Mr. Oludare, summary in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes, so it shouldn't be more than 2 minutes. I'll be picking on you all for you one-on-one. 2 minutes. I will cut you off after 2 minutes. Oh yeah? Go ahead. Unmute your mic, please.
Okay. All right. Are we here?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You guys can hear me. Okay. I just want to say thank you to Tunde and other discussants. This is a very lively discussions, and I hope that this can continue. It doesn't have to be on television for the whole world to learn 1 or 2 things. And by this type of interactive session, we all learn to see how we can move our country forward. The topic you gave me, it's all about the youth. Like I said, you know, we will all do our best. It's not just the government. We should do our best from our little corners to see that the youths on our streets, on our neighborhood, you know, we see somebody on the street who is doing nothing and all that, and you can ask that child, where are your parents? Where are you going to? Where are you coming from? Why are you like this? Why are you not in school? Those are the things that we need to do. Where you can bring out a little money to train 1 or 2 kids on your street, it's part of this training process, not necessarily from the government. So, of course, our government has the whole chunk to do about bringing about youths being leaders of tomorrow. Like I said, thank you all so much for this opportunity. My junior, very, very junior brother, K-Boy, and my friend Abang, Pam, our Pam, Those are the people. I don't know, Tunde, how you come about cropping all around people to your stuff. You have to tell me. You have to tell me what your connection to Around is one of these days. Thank you so much. Thank you, my other discussants. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next is Great Moshood online now. Great Moshood. Okay. Let's have ODERINDE online, like a summary.
Nigeria is our country. All hope is not enough. We need to join hands together to build the nation. Don't concentrate on your children alone. Be interested in training other people's children so that Nigeria will be a better place to be for us and for future generations. Thank you. And I seize this opportunity to appreciate you and also the co-discussants today. You are very great. You are great, Nigeria. And the caliber of people we have on this panel today is also telling us that there is still hope for Nigeria. I say thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thanks. Dr. Charles, are you online? Dr. Charles? Dr. Charles? Okay, Great Moshood. I don't want to call them because then calling them will mean that. Okay, with this, we're still going to have another one before the end of the month. I will brief you all would know, and I want you to all contribute. This is how it starts. You have got to make one or two sacrifices. It's not, the thing is this, everything is not on money. It's your sacrifice, your commitment. Look, all what you said today, it's a commitment towards a better Nigerian nation. Most people, don't forget, maybe, okay, we are only a few here now. Let me tell you some stories. Sorry to say, I will tell you. I've approached senators, I've approached, those ones I know, senators, honorables, blah, 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 but everybody is afraid. They don't want to say something. First, there are two things, there are two reasons, main two reasons they don't want to say. One, or three reasons. One, they don't know what to say. Two, they're afraid. Three, they are not as vibrant and learning as you are. That's just the basic thing. And they say that, most of them, when you see a senator, go to mostly, I hope you are all hearing me. Please, if you are hearing me, just raise up your hands. Raise your hands, please. Just raise your hands if you are hearing me.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, good. Most of them, and this is between us, we are only very few here now. They really cannot come up. You know why? I'll tell you two reasons. One or three reasons. Why? One, they are not as fluent and as knowledgeable as you are. They are not. If you hear, sometimes when I go to channels and I listen to what a senator, somebody that I would be looking at that bless me, oh my Baba, my this thing, and what he comes out to say on the TV. You see a senator, even those ones we call, what do you call them? The area father. You hear them say something that, are these people normal? They don't know what to say. They will have done their shacking, done their this thing when they come up and then do this. They don't know. So I've approached 5 senators or 6 senators. Look, okay, some of them they are not going to tell me why they can't come online. But so few of them tell us that our problem is, apart from being afraid, we are not afraid though. We don't know what to say. You understand? Then another one is this. Most of them, they graduate, not only graduate, they get to the high peak, the peak of society, not knowing anything. They don't know nothing. They just get there because of the fact that they have one area for that. Okay, go and do it. Something like that. They don't know what to do. You are the ones that know what to do. With time, you will be my witness. You bear witness to what I'm saying. Because you are contributing now. We have just started. We're going to go a long way. Thank you, everyone. From the only female we have with us to our chief accountant, Mr. Okediron, to Moshood FATAI, even to Abang, that was part of people that contributed, to all the other people. I really thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tunde. I've been battling with the network for some minutes now.
Okay.
So sorry about that. I'm back.
No problem. You're welcome.
Yeah,
so it's really great having you back. Although I've asked you to, okay, maybe you can still stay your own. In just 1 minute, or not 1 minute, 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said earlier, I think the best thing the government can do or individually we can do is to back on the orientation, shows that we are not going to be having an impression that we are going to the government or we are going to contest for something to steal money or to mismanage our resources. We can start somewhere, and I'm sure with that, Nigeria can be great again. There is a popular language now that we're in your Lonja Faradu, meaning that it's only a mad person that we do something favorable to society or fight for society or fight for the society. That's a very bad language, but the reality is that that is the situation now in Nigeria. Most people, if you contest an election and emerge winner, you will see a lot of people congratulating you. They are not congratulating you because they want you to do anything. They are congratulating you because they want to get contract from you, get money from you, and they are expecting you to steal. Even bank will start borrowing you money, your loan that you don't apply for, they will offer you. So in my own opinion, even banks, they are contributing to the problem we have in this society. So all those languages need to change. We need to start believing in ourselves, start believing in the country, and start making sacrifice, even if it is what this our generation can do for the next coming generation to ensure that all things get better. I'm sure with determination, we will get there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. And this put an end to our panel discussion. The next one, like I told you, is on the 19th. I will inform you all. Then I will give you, each one of you will have certificates of participation. You will receive it in the next 1 or 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm on that. They know that I'm on duty.